Hello, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast, sea to shining sea, twice as nice, double play Saturday, from around the world, wherever you may be. Welcome back. This is Ham Radio Live. Must be Saturday night, right? From around the world, wherever you may be, it's going to be a good show. We got the 7th District QSO party going on. Plus, we're going to talk about a few little old commercials you might remember. And perhaps, just perhaps, we might throw in a little bit of fun with you as well. It is Saturday, May 7th, 2022. And we just had a great visit with Chris, Digital Analog Ham, 2 Echo Zero, Union Kilo Hotel. Grateful to Chris. Thank you for the UK for loaning him out for about an hour and a half. Thank you for that. For you around the world, let's go for show number 2. Wherever you may be, away we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Shack in Oregon. My name's Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. Welcome back. Sorry, a little bit later than I hoped. I hoped to put this one on at 1300 and at 2100. And I just couldn't do it. Things kind of got a little bit late, and then a few things got forgot around the house, and Larry took care of it. Now we're all done, and I'm grateful to be here. No! So there you go. First one in. It is the 8th time it's happened, and it's true. But we have to first set the stage for him, because how he does it, I don't know. I just don't have the answer. He's truly man of mystery. The head ringmaster at Coffee and Ham Radio, as well as a wonderful YouTube channel. The man is amazing, truly is. The Smoking Ape, again, first one into the shack today. Welcome, the Ape. Good to see you, mate. First one in again. It's good to have you in the show. And I don't know how he does it. He just does it. Cliff Bolts, Whiskey Delta 4 Oscar Bravo Papa. That's the Commonwealth of Virginia. Hi, Cliff. Nice to see you. G-Man, you almost made it. You were just a little bit outside there, but you almost did it. Hi, Bob. Good to see you. Courtesy WIFI. Yep, you almost did it. Steve, the Smoking Ape, just how the heck do you do it? That's just living clean, man. Clean living, that's all. Andy New, welcome. Mike 7, Charlie Union, November. That's Bristol in the UK. Good to see ya. Jeff, November 4, Papa Oscar Delta. He's 31st, and that's good. No! I don't know what 32nd would be, but Jeff, be comfortable with it. That's it. And Smoking Ape. I'm just simply fast. That's me. That's how fast he is. Rob, welcome. November 7, Tango Tango Alpha, as well as Andy. Andy, it's great to see you, man. I hope you're okay. Finally, good connection. Alpha Alpha Zero, Whiskey X-Ray / H9. That means Hotel 9. He is back in, are you back in Europe now? Are you, mate? Yeah. Wow. Andy, take care of yourself, all right? Be safe. Just be safe, okay? We love you, man, and we want you to be okay. It's, we're going to talk about this today in the show. Ham radio to me, and this is just my, without seeming like there's an earthquake in here and everything shakes. Ham radio to me is like a verbal geography lesson. It really is. You think about it, right? We make calls all over the world, but what do we know about the places we make calls to? Today, because Larry had such a great time yesterday with you and trying to do phonetics with the country of Namibia.
My name is Larry.
We're going to actually show a little bit about that country and give you some statistics and idea about how special Namibia is, because I'm really grateful for Waynard coming all the way from Namibia there in Africa just to watch this show. That means a lot to me. So we're going to do something special for him. And here he is, Waynard right there. Waynard, we're going to do this just for you, and I'm grateful that you're here. So thanks for coming. Spike is here. Did you just start? What time y'all got? Yeah. No. Well, I honestly, man, yeah. I would have liked to have been here a little earlier, but, I have a lot to do here, unfortunately. And sometimes, as much as Bob's heart's in it, he forgets. Larry takes care of it. Jeff, November 4, Pop Oscar Delta, good to see you from Eastern Tennessee. It's nice to have you here, as well as Roger McKeon. Thank you for coming. Jeremy in Albany, Oregon, good to see you as well. Kilo 7, Victor Foxtrot Alpha. And there's William, all the way in Jacksonville. Ape cheats. He infuriates the internet. No, wait, I'm sorry. Larry learned to read today. He infiltrates the internet like the lawnmower man. How about that? It's pretty funny, actually. I'm easily impressed. Anyway, really, I really do believe that the internet is really kind of like, it's a fun place where you can get, the world's got smaller, right? Amateur radio has kind of always been that way, right? Amateur radio has always been about talking to people in distant lands that you know sometimes very little about. But we're going to learn a lot, hopefully today, about the country of Namibia. And I think it's so cool how this guy did this video. And I'll have a link to his channel because he's really good at what he does. So I hope you enjoy that, because to me, I thought that was pretty sweet. So when we talk about someone really special, like Winan coming all the way from Africa, it means a lot to me considering the vast size of his country. And there's not a lot of people here. So Winan, when we get you, we're going to play this song because we're so happy, as pleased as punch that you joined this channel. Hope you like that. There you go. A little bit of love for Africa, because Larry couldn't say the word of your country. I'm sorry. Andy's in Eastern Poland. Yeah, Andy, very best to you there. Please, you're on the border of Ukraine. Take care of yourself. Please be safe, all right? Bob White, 3B. RM1 SS back in the 60s and 70s. Good to see you, and thank you for being there. Wayne, isn't that ape hiding in the back of Larry's chair? Shh. Be very, very quiet. We do not tell secrets here.
Hey, that's a joke, son.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Your weather is coming up, but first I want to tell you how to get into amateur radio. This is the coolest hobby in the world. Where else can you put together a radio station yourself and talk to people all over the world in great places like Namibia, in Africa? Really, it's a wonderful hobby, you guys. If you'd like to get your license, you can do so. Contact someone like the American Radio Relay League. Send them a contact us message at www.arrl.org. Please tell them where you're located and that you'd like to be an amateur licensee. They're going to send you an email back that will have the information of where a local club is for you that you can get to know, and they'll help you get licensed. www.arrl.org. We have a show email. Please feel free and reach out to me at cqhamradiolive@gmail.com. And we're on Discord after the show. We talk a lot. We spend about an hour just hanging out, talking about everything. We've talked politics. We've talked about the price of things. We've talked about radio. We've talked about music. We talk everything. Find us on ham-radio-live on Discord, and please chat up. Be a lot of fun. Don't forget, Chuck, November Juliet 7 Victor. He's on a wonderful little vacation from some summits in Arizona, and he'd love to make calls with you. Please find him, November Juliet 7 Victor, on the bands, okay? Question of the show today: how few watts have you used to make a call before? We talk about QRP, and we have someone that watches the channel, is really a dear friend, Whiskey Alpha 2 Tango Papa Uniform, Don, out of Afton, New York, who made a 1 watt QSO between him and someone in Cape Town, South Africa. Actually, two someones down there. How few watts have you ever used to make a QSO? Put it in the comments. We'll make it part of the show. Today's weather, powered by Icom. Icom, for the love of ham radio. And this is really a cool A1A. It's really neat, and some good weather information in this segment. I hope you enjoy it. Here's the backside of the sun. We're looking kind of at the east limb and the last 2/3 of the sun in the back. 3006, 3004 back there, but there's more sunspots back there than what we're showing here. Magnetosphere view, there's 3006, very, very large. 3005, kind of tiny up there at the top corner. And then, of course, 3004, 30, and 3001. But 3004 has been pretty active over the last week. We're going to see declining SFI numbers, but the information about solar cycle 25 has been updated, and that's really eye-popping. Here is the coronal hole map really nothing hurting us right now from the sun. So it's good conditions. Last 3 days of solar flare detection, you take a look at that baseline. It's coming down below sea now. So just some sea level flares in the last 24 hours. We do have just a little bit of some sea level flares really the last 3 days. So not much huge activity from the sun over the last few days. Expect SFI numbers to drop here as this continues. Your K index, this is the noise floors or the static on the bands. It's quiet. So on 40 and 80 and 160, this could be quiet conditions for you tonight to make some good DX calls. Next 3 days look quiet too, K2 and K3. So some good quiet conditions for you. Take a look at this. Now, this is from what it was before. Okay, this is the March Solar Cycle 25 progression from solarham.net. Take a look at where those blue lines are compared to the red arc. The red arc was where people projected that Solar Cycle 25 would be. I believe we've got to have some updated forecasts coming through from some very well-known and very much more experienced people than Larry on what's going to maybe be happening for Solar Cycle 25 in the near future, because this is starting to get really, really noticeably bigger than 24 or what was prescribed for us here for 25. Here is March. Now take a look at the updated one for April. Look at what happens to the blue lines. Look at that. Take a look at the bottom one. That's the SFI. The SFI in April, look how far it is. It's almost reached the peak of what they expected this solar cycle to be already in April of 2022. And that was supposed to happen sometime around mid-2025 when this solar cycle peaked. I think it peaked sooner. I think it peaked sometime maybe early 2025, late 2024. But it's going to be a huge solar cycle. And look at the numbers. They're totally different. Look how they changed from March. See March here. And I know this is a bit bigger one, but I don't like not having Solar Ham's name up there because they deserve it. They do all the work. So look at how much things have changed. This could be a huge, huge solar number. SFI numbers from today, as well as QRZ information as the day has went on. We started out about 1553 here, and the solar number these are basically the same. But look at the BZ latitude as it picks up during the day. Here it was minus 0.3, and this is at 1553. Then at 1753, so 2 hours later, it's at 0.8. So we started at 0.3, went to 0.8. Now the current one, which is at minus 2.4. This is only bad news for the lower bands for tonight for conditions being very good. SFI down one more to 118. Your solar number is at 64. A index is nice and quiet at 4. Beautiful K index. It's 0. That's very quiet. It's so quiet it's inactive. Your Bravo Zulu latitude, that's the geomagnetic field of the Earth, how it's pointing the solar radiation here, is negative, which isn't good, but the solar wind is very, very low. 279.3 kilometers per second. That's one of the lowest numbers I've seen from solar wind in a long time. EME, folks, the one about signals off the lunar surface, fair tonight, and your HF conditions are there, and I really think those are pretty accurate. Let's take a look at some MUF maps. This came from 1815 UTC. As you see, Europe during the day, about 23 megahertz. This is about the peak of the day in Europe. So 23 megahertz, 22, right about Central Europe. And then as you head south, they weren't even getting 30 yet. They were 28 megahertz, just 28 in the southern part of Spain and Italy. Much lower numbers than they have been here in the States. 25 megahertz at that point, right around Louisiana. And then, of course, up here in the Northwest, we were only at about 19, 18 meters. But I'm sorry, megahertz. But take a look now. Not much better, really isn't. 26 megahertz out of California, 27 in Louisiana. So those 10 megahertz, those 10 meter band numbers we've seen out of the southern part of the Northern Hemisphere, they're just not there today. They just aren't. So if we can maybe squeeze 12 possibly out of the south, that'd be great. Here in the north, you're probably going to be looking somewhere between 17 and 15 meters as your maximum DX window today. Up in Alaska, 16 megahertz out of Anchorage. In South America, even numbers down there. North of part of Brazil, there are 39 megahertz, which is great. As you go down the South American coast, it gets down 26, then 20, then 20 as it heads south. So SFIs aren't high. Doesn't have as much to do with the MUFs, but MUFs, they are just not strong. They just start. Europe right now, still on 15 meters mainland. You're 15 meters out of France there. I don't have a number really that's very strong for the UK. It's kind of right between 17 and 15 meters. I say 17 probably is safe. Some good DX there right now. Out of the Far East, 25 megahertz out of Tokyo. Right now along the Gold Coast, 25 megahertz in Australia. As you head towards the west coast of Australia where it's still dark, Perth, right about 15 megahertz. Your ham radio and shortwave forecast for today, voice band should be 20, 17, 15, 12, maybe some 10, and it'll be real small. Work south to north as day progresses, and I just don't see much of it here in the Northern Hemisphere. 17 and 15 going to be the go-to bands for DX in much of the Northern Hemisphere. Equatorial latitudes 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. Southern Hemisphere today, I think it's going to be more 20, 17, 15, and 12. I don't know you get much 10 in the south. DX on 11 meters. It's going to be spotty most places around the world except the mid-latitudes. Data modes probably more around 30 to 12, and I put 30 to 10 here. My apologies. It's my fault. So let me go ahead and change that. It should be around 30 to 12 meters, and that's the maximum you should be able to get today out of data. Nighttime handband openings today, 160, 80, 75, 60, 40, 30. Some great DX on 40 tonight. Nice quiet noise floor. 20 meters should be good tonight as well. You might work that most of the evening, even with the SFI where it is, but make sure and work your maximum usable frequency at gray line, because that's when you're going to make great calls. Shortwave bands during the day, 31, 25, 22, and 19, and your nighttime shortwave, 120, 90, 75, and 60, 49, 41, 31, 25, 22, and the 19-meter band should be shining bright for you about 2 hours after sunset. Signals will fade away. Ranking today is a 6. We've got a negative BZ latitude. Not a really big SFI, but it's better than normal because we got a very low noise floor today. So good conditions for the nighttime bands. Welcome to the show. It's great to see you guys today. It really is. Really is. I need a drink. All right, let me catch up with your comments, and then we're going to talk about somebody that comes to the channel from Africa. It's a really neat video about what it's like to, visit his country in Namibia. We showed some pictures yesterday, but I think that's not enough for somebody that comes from so far away, and I really am honored that he does come. That's pretty darn special to me. This is him right here. That is Waynon Wolmerans. He says, isn't that ape hiding in the back of Larry's chair? Yeah, that's Waynon. He comes from Namibia, and we're going to take a look at his country in just a moment. So my way of honoring you, my friend. Continent number 4 is here. Glenn Stevenson, Australia. Welcome, Glenn. Good to see you, mate. It's great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. He says, it's 12 midnight there in Namibia. Yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. Spike, who are you? An RM1SS? I don't know. Sorry. I'm trying. Waynon, 0.1 watt. So he's used 0.1 watt to make a QSO. Fantastic. That may be the leader in the field. Well done. Andy New from the UK, 10 watts for me, obviously. Actually, I've also tried 1 watt, but only by accident after I realized no one could hear me. It's okay. No worries. No worries. Waynon, only 20 meter FT8 China, and that was H2. That's a fantastic call. So he made it with really low power on FT8. Well done. Yeah. And that's the purpose, really. Remember, FT8 was designed to be low power. It was never designed for people to run 100 watts. I'm not saying that people don't, but that's the way it goes. William, Dr. Scove has said this is going to be much bigger than previous. Well, I'm glad she did. It's good. Yeah, because it definitely has. Much better. And what he's saying is Dr. Scove now is saying it's a better solar cycle than what they thought it would be, which is great. The experts should be saying that. That's good. That's really good because it is going to be very, very big. Yeah. Andy New, Plastic Story 73. At that moment, oh gosh, of course, my name is Larry.
My name is Larry.
Happy now? Great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we did. We hit 160 SFI. We did. But that's more an average for the month. So they're taking that average of April at 130, which is huge. That's a huge average. Steve, I've made a few calls with 5 watts across Europe on digital, but usually just use maximum power at 10. That's right. No worries about that. And we did reach 164. That was the highest number we did reach in the month. So there you go. Me Halibut, Spike, we need to get you some help today.
No!
We got to get you some help. That's all right. There you go. It says, Mom and Dad always wanted a dog, but then I came along and now they have a dog named Larry. Oh my gosh.
That's a knife.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Jeff in East Tennessee got Larry on the big screen while I eat my red beans and rice. Well, I hope that hope it goes down okay. I hope so. And hope it doesn't come back up because of what you're watching. Two lads of the Lottie, welcome back. Good to see you. Mike 7, Golf November Romeo. It's great to have you, as well as Gordon. Mike 7, India November Tango. Great to see you from the UK. Thank you. Rob Q, all the way in Los Angeles, California. 6 meters is open down south. Good for you, mate. Work it. Work it. You guys down south. You guys. Jeff, November 4, Pop Oscar Delta, 100 watts is QRP, right? No, not quite. No! Not quite. Red, welcome. And you're on vacation, dude. I'm so glad you're here. 0.33 watts. That's phenomenal. Red, well done. A third of a watt. Just great. That's fantastic. Really is. Jeff, I know people that run 1500 watts on FT8. Now, that is crazy. It just never happened. All right, let's take a look at this. This is really special. This is for somebody that comes in, and I'm really honored he's here because you think about Africa, right? We all want to make calls to Africa because it's a very special place. Namibia is one of those places where there's been shows like, if you watch the show Survivor, man, remember? They dumped the guy who was a Navy SEAL into the Namibian desert, right? And he had to survive for 5 days, and they had to come in and rescue him because he was almost dead. Really, no kidding. So let's take a look at just how special the country of Namibia is. This is where Winan is from. I'd like to give credit to the channel who does it, and you'll see a link to him in the description section of this show. A lot of times when we use our radio, we don't take enough time to appreciate the places we're blessed to contact. Let's take a look at one of them, where he's from.
There are certain stereotypes associated with the countries that are located below Egypt on the map. Poverty, infections, crime, bad roads, etc. And obviously, these are real issues. But in reality, there's also an Africa that is safe, civil, without malaria. And most importantly, it is beautiful. And right now, we're in exactly such a place. My friends, welcome to Namibia. To kick things off, let's take a look at a map to get a better idea of where exactly we are. Namibia is located in the southwest of Africa, near South Africa. It is one of the least populated countries in the world, and judging by this map, it may seem like this place is tiny, but in reality, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Namibia is a vast country with huge distances between cities. One of the main difficulties in navigating Namibia is that less than 10% of the roads are asphalt. The rest are either gravel or straight up off-road, which is why you need a special vehicle to travel across it. SUVs are the best means of travel here. Something like a Toyota Hilux, for example. These are very popular here. And ours is a full-fledged camper. It has big tires and crazy off-road capabilities. It also has a 140-liter double gas tank, good for a 1,200-kilometer range. There's also some square thing on the roof. We'll explore that later. But the best feature of all is how much equipment this thing carries. That's worth a whole other conversation too. What's great is this SUV comes with all sorts of little knickknacks. It's packed to the brink with a whole host of things that will help you to stay alive in the desert. We have a fridge that is powered by an auxiliary battery, all the cutlery and dishes you will ever need, a gas tank, a water canister, and last but not least, 2 spare wheels, just in case. The best part is that these guys even teach you how to change the wheels, because there's no one to help you in the middle of a desert. And it's not like you can call anyone either. Once the training is done, you fill out the paperwork and pay the rental. I've decided to stock up on food, and of course, water, which we'll need a lot of. Now, we're ready to go. Oops, I forgot to mention that in Namibia, you drive on the left side of the road and the steering wheel is on the right side, which is why you may be getting into the passenger seat in the first few days. And you'll probably be putting the wipers on every time you want to use the blinkers, but you get used to it eventually. If you're sick of traffic and people for that matter and just want to drive for pleasure, then Namibia is for you. It's all about vast distances and empty roads. I mean, you can drive for over 40 minutes and not see a single car. Also, this is a country with a very small population. In fact, it is second only after Mongolia in terms of population density. Second from the end of the list, that is. Namibia is larger than Turkey, and even so, its population is only about 2.5 million people. The population density here is 2.5 people per 1 square kilometer. In comparison, Singapore has over 7,000 people per 1 square kilometer. This is the best place for coronavirus social distancing, right? We'll spend the next 2 weeks on the road, and I've planned quite an extensive trip so that we can see the most of what Namibia has to offer. I hope that this episode will turn into a good old-fashioned travel vlog, where I kind of broadcast to you everything I see.
And, to hold the show the whole thing, I'm going to show the video down below, the link to it. It's well worth it. It's really good. Really is worth watching. Really is. If you want to work someone from Namibia, you may wonder, what's their prefix? Ham radio prefixes in Namibia run from Victor 50 to Victor 59. Those are the prefixes. If you're lucky enough to work one, and then you're working someone pretty darn special. We want to thank, and I mean this sincerely, I really want to thank Waynans for coming. This is so special to me. And to have the continent of Africa here is one thing, but especially someone that's so kind as you, Wayne. And thank you for being part of the show and for coming all the way from Namibia. Thank you. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. All right, we're also going to take a look at a starter radio today. We've been talking about different radios to start out with for a while. And one of the radios we haven't talked about, we're going back in the 90s for this. I know it's a little bit long in the tooth, but it's a really good radio. It's fantastic for HF, and it's something that's affordable. Used prices run between about $500 and $600. I'm going to show you just a little clip of this because the Namibia thing was there, and I didn't want to go too long into it. But let's take a quick eyeball of the Icom 765.
Righto, we're just having a look at one of my all-time favourite radios. One of the reasons, because I'm getting older and I need big numbers like that I don't have to actually have my glasses on, and a nice big S meter. The IC 765. Now, I had the covers off it before, and I probably should have done a bit of a video showing you exactly why the IC 765 is so good. I've got some snapshots of the filters that are in these things. It is just fully loaded. The 765 was just something that came to you with this incredible assortment of filters and abilities to do things that really was around the time it was groundbreaking. But this is a big radio. This is the base station that you always wanted. Look, it's the size of almost a 7800. It's a little bit, narrower and not quite as long, but I tell you what, it's an imposing radio that you just sit there and go, I think I want one of these, and some of their features are very, very good. Now, on the last video, we played with an old IC 701, and that was, look, I love that radio, I got to tell you. It's down on the floor over here, and I can tell you, I've got to find a good spot for it, because the floor won't do. But in the essence of thinking about, okay, what other classic Icom radios do I really like? I thought, you know what, we've got a lot of radios here, and I thought I'm just going to go pull out this IC 765. I've got to be honest, I did have to knock a bit of dust off it. It's been sitting in storage for 3 to 4, 5 years, I don't know, quite a long time. And that's why I pulled the covers, because I just wanted to check, caps, bits and pieces, have a good look through. And, even things like power supply voltage, just check that there was nothing that was going to, hold us up. Look at this. Oh, talking to Tex. We won't hear Tex, I don't think, ground wave, but look at this receiver. I tell you what.
It is a hot receiver. I don't want to go too late because we went in the Namibia segment. I want to keep it as much on ham radio as we can. But you get AM, FM, sideband, of course. you get CW, and the thing weighs 40 pounds. I'll be honest, it's a very heavy radio. But what you get is you get a pretty good quality radio, and prices are pretty reasonable. Here's a couple of them that have recently been on QRZ. You see this one here. You can see weighs about 40 pounds, $600, and that's shipped. That's a pretty good price. Here's another one, and he wants you to pick it up because it's doggone heavy, $550. He expects UPS shipping anywhere from $75 to $150, maybe even higher than that, to be honest with you. So, again, Icom 765, it gives you a lot, gives you 100 watts. That one that Brenton shows you, and I'll have his link below as well. Brenton Meadows out of VK Land. Great stuff and good reviews. He's got such a great amount of reviews on old radios down there. Just great channel, Brenton Meadows. Find him here on YouTube. Really has a great bit of stuff. All right, let's take a look. We're gonna honor some folks here today too, because we want to do that. We've got a very special person who comes to the channel from time to time, and he's also a truck driver, like Indy in DK Land. This is a very special guy that I've liked for a long time. He's a dear friend named Al Gross. Al call sign, Whiskey Bravo Zero Alpha Lima. Al Gross. Yep. Whiskey Bravo Zero Alpha Lima from St. Charles, Missouri. Usually Al checks in from the road. He's very rarely at home, like Indy out of Australia. So let's take a look a little bit of Al and where he's from. Here he is on a map. Take a look, just about the center of the United States. Take a look. I'll zoom in the U.S. so it actually shows you a little better. There you go. Right, almost in the dead center, St. Charles, Missouri. A little about him. After working the broadcast business for 43 years, it was time to reinvent myself. He became a truck driver. Huge change. XYL Jen got her commercial driver's license, and they've been on the road since October of 14. His portable setup consists of a Yaesu 857D, MFJ 422 SWR watt meter, Wolf River coil, Silver Bullet TIA, plus radio waves, 20-meter dipole, the Bioenno 30 amp hour battery, and the PowerWorks battery box. Al, you are an amazing guy, and I don't know how you keep up with the show as much as you do, but it is an honor to have you watch the show, and really my privilege to say thank you to you for being here. Mean that very much. Mean that very much. And yeah, you can call him out. You got it. Yes. Well, Larry can be funny sometimes. All right. We've got a lot of people that were going to be part of this show here. We're excited about that. I am, at least. Some really cool guests and some people are working on the background to try and help bring to the channel for Saturday shows, like we did earlier today with Chris. And he did a great job, didn't he? Chris was phenomenal today on the show. I enjoyed that. Next weekend, on the 14th of May, that will be... Larry gets it right. It's going to be Vance Martin. I had another guy that was booked, and we're going to move him farther out because Vance, I've already got him, and we've been talking about this. So I've got to talk to this other gentleman and move him a little bit out, but Vance Martin will join us. That'll be next Saturday, 1900 UTC. Okay, that'll be here in the States, 3 p.m. in the East, noon Pacific. If you're on the East Coast of Australia, 6 a.m., there in Sydney and Melbourne. We're going to talk Parks on the Air. Vance is really good at Parks on the Air. He's got amazing stats on what Parks on the Air are going on and the statistics of how many people are working them, how many calls are being made. This guy is brilliant. Join us next Saturday for this great show. Then on the 11th of June, join us for Tim Duffy, K3LR. We're going to talk about his ham radio career, contesting, and a whole bunch more. Very honored to have Tim come join the show. That'll be a lot of fun coming up on June the 11th. So meet Tim Duffy from DX Engineering in Eastern Pennsylvania. We get to talk about his cool ham shack. I think he has 10 7851s in that shack. No kidding. 10. Wow. Let's find out from the angry hams upstairs if we got a good show or not. Usually not. We'll at least find out.
Well, that number scared the pants off me. You sure you didn't just forget to put them on again?
Oh, angry hams. All right. 20 to 20 this month. So far, North America and the world locked up at 20. First question. The lowest class of license available in the United Kingdom is known as the... Is it A, the basic license, B, the novice license? Is it C, the foundation license? Or is it D, the starter license? Again, the base license in the UK. Is it A, the basic license, B, the novice license, C, the foundation license, or D, the starter license? Let me know with A, B, C, or D. We'll let you know who gets it first right and which continent gets the score for it. Good luck. 2020. Big 2020. First one coming in all the way from the UK, and it should be this way because the first two are from there. Look at that. Steve, Mike 7, India Whiskey Hotel with C, the foundation license, and he got it right. Well done. Good mate. There you go. See, look at this. It's Steve, Andy right away. C. Yep. Foundation license. That's the beginning license. I don't like to call it lowest. Isn't lowest kind of a bad? I don't like that term. Lowest class. I think, you know what? No one's lowest class. If you get your ham license, you've done something special. So let's just call it the lowest level. That's it. Or the beginning license or whatever. I don't care. Foundation license, the starter license in the UK. Also getting that one. Gordon, Mike 7, India November Tango. Jeff got it right in Eastern Tennessee. William got it right in Jacksonville, Florida. So did Cliff in Pennsylvania. Mike, formerly known as Kilo Delta 2 Sierra X-Ray Delta. Now known as Kilo Golf 2 Mike. C. Well done, sir. Skeeter also with C. Two lads got it right. W. Kirby, welcome, got it right. Wynand, look at this, all the way in Namibia. He got it right, too. So did Rob and Kel, and Wynand got it twice. He's so sharp. Mike, howdy, Larry and all, was watching on the big screen, so had to no chat. Well, big screen, you might... That might cause brain damage even faster. Who knows? William, you build from the foundation. And I like that thought. Yeah, that's a nice way to look at it. You build from the foundation up. A nice way to put it for people who start out. That's a really, really good entry level. Yep, starting license. I like foundation. I do. I just don't like the word lowest class. I think it's kind of bad. But then again, I don't usually pick things apart like that. Just the way it goes. This is question number 2. Who made a radio receiver called the Skywriter? Ooh. What do you got? I got a Skywriter. What about you? I just got just this little no-name brand. Yeah. It came from China. I'm not sure what. Yeah. Is it A, Harvey Radio, B, National Company, C, Henry, or D, Helicrafters? Who made the Skywriter? First one in. Right answer. Gets it for their country. Good luck. 30 to 20 so far. And we see who gets it right. Yeah. Rob, thank you. I love Rob. Rob is a nice guy. Rob, if I had more Robs in my world, I would just always be like a gigantic smile, and I think my head wouldn't fit through the door because it'd be too big. In the UK, we've got D. Andy, first one in with D, and he says Helicrafters. That's who made the Skywriter, and he is 100% correct. UK got 2 today. And it's a late show. Look at that, late show, and the UK got in twice. That's amazing. It is D, Helicrafters. Here it is. That's the Skywriter right there. Look at that. That looks like a vintage piece of gear. Sure does, yeah. Radio receiver called the Skywriter. Remember, this is not the transmitter or a transceiver. This is just the part that hears the signal. This is the Skywriter by Helicrafters way back in the day. Also getting this one here, Mike had B, Jeff was C, Cliff with B, Gordon had B, Spike had D, Kjell with C, William with D, two lads had D, Rob with D, Wynand had B, Rob Q had D, and Chris, welcome back. Good to see you back in the shack again. Chris, he shows up for interviews and comes for the second show too. Is there anything he cannot do? No, he's brilliant. Bob White also got D. Wynand had D in Namibia, also Skeeter with D. And Bob says, I used to have the Sky Buddy back in the day. That is so cool. Did you really? Oh my gosh, love to see it. Send me a photo. Just send me a photo of it. I'd love to see it because that's stuff like that to me is really, really interesting. Really is. We have a question for the show today. It is, how few watts have you ever used to make a call before? Which is an interesting question considering we're in the 7th District Call QSO party today, and I'm going to run power, so why not ask that question? Don't forget, after the show, we are on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We hang out, we ask and just kind of hang out like a bunch of people having fun, and we talk about just about everything. It doesn't have to be just radio. We just have fun and talk. Join us at ham-radio-live for the conversation. We'd love to have you join us after the show as we hang out and talk about radio, okay? Let's take a look at the 7610. And by the way, the world got 40 to 20 now in the lead, so good job. So this is 20 meters here, and we're going to this is somebody right on the edge. I was going to say, it looked like a signal, but not quite. All right, so I'm going to guess somebody's going to be right about here. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right, so this is part of the 7th District QSO party, and I'm just going to quickly tune, and hopefully we'll be able to make a call and see if maybe we could do that or, have some fun today. Again, it's there's a few QSO parties. Say Delaware's going on, the New England QSO party. A lot of folks are having fun at that, so it's a lot of fun. Andy, who's in Poland right now, helping out the Ukrainian people. I got a quick peek at your last episode. As far as handhelds, the most common used by the Russians is Kenwood. Over 6,000 HTs have been surrendered. Andy, that's phenomenally interesting. Really? Wow, that's amazing. Think about that. It's over 6,000 handhelds. And you think about why, right? Because they're going to use those in the field. They don't want people using communication in the field. One thing you want to knock out is communications. Handhelds work line of sight, right? Have some handheld, you can really communicate well. So yeah, interesting. Well, thanks a lot for that, Andy. That's really interesting to know. Daniel, 5 watts. It barely worked, but it did. That's pretty good to know. Jeff, when I first was studying for my novice, I was loaned a Helicrafter and a Hammerland. Wow, is that cool or what? 2 classic radios from the old days. That's good stuff. All right, so we'll take a look at the radio. We'll have some fun. Hopefully make a call or 2 or 3 or 4. We'll see. We're way at the edge. And we'll check frequency and we'll see if there's someone here. We'll check my power, 25. So we're going to run the 1306 and we'll see how we do. Is the frequency in use? This is Kilo 7 Hotel November. You know what? Since we said low power, hold on. We said low power. This is the hardest thing to do. I think the hardest thing to do when you're doing a live show. It really is. QRP. So we're at 5 watts. We'll see if anybody hears us at 5. We'll never know. We'll see. Somebody's below us here, pretty close on frequency. And since we're upper sideband, that's pretty close. Right about there. We'll go to 36. This is like a train wreck waiting to happen when you do QRP. Is the frequency in use? Kilo 7 Hotel November. It's one of those things that I am always cautious of. QRP is tough to do, and that's why when you see QRP, I'm not going to do it. It is an accident waiting to happen. Somebody's up a little bit, around 37. Hear everybody talking. It's good. Should be a lot of activity.
Delta 6, Lima, Bravo, 55, Malibu, California.
A lot of fade, and you'll get that today with the negative BZ. We're going to get a lot of fade today. Here we came in real strong, then faded down.
Malibu, California.
And so he's probably incoming because California is a 6th district. We're 7 here,
Malibu,
so.
Malibu, California.
Yeah. So this is the 7th district called QSO Party, which is where I live. Big signal here.
Sounds better than most of the network feeds from on TV. And anyway, you don't know the brand of the microphone?
Just a strong signal, right? Boy, good strong signal.
Thank you. 67 QP, W6 America, Florida, America. 7 QP.
Kilo 7 Hotel November. See if he hears us.
Again?
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
Okay, hold on. I heard Kilo 7, the Kilowatt 7 station. Try it one more time, please.
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
The Kilowatt ending November?
Kilo 7 Hotel November.
Okay, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November, Roger.
Roger.
Okay, Kilowatt 7 Hotel November. Good afternoon. Thanks for your patience. V59 California, Charlie Alpha, over.
QSL, thanks for the 55, 59, 59 here into Oregon, Polk County, QSL.
Okay, Kilo 17 Hotel November, K7 Hotel November, W6AFA. You got Oregon, and what is your county? Your county, please.
5959. County is Polk, P-L-K, Polk.
Roger, Roger. Papa Ocean Lima, Polk. Got it. Thank you for your patience. Good luck.
Thank you. Same to you. 73. So, and that's going to be what it's going to be like. A lot of stuff, and you know, it's not that, you know. Well, here I'll show you real quick because this is the way it is on the band. You know, I'd love to do this, but there's a lot of people who are really into contesting, and for those people, this is really a fun thing. Last year, I remember doing I think I did like a 2-hour sprint of this and got like 58 calls in a big run, and it was funny because the person who was like in the head of the 7 district call contest, right? The contest guy, he got a hold of me on email. He says, "Hey, could you please confirm these calls? Because, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, that you'd be, you know, probably pretty strong in this contest." And I did. I never heard from that guy again. Are you kidding me? No, never did. But that's okay. You know, it's fun. It's neat to make calls. It's neat to see how you go, where the calls are going, and what's going on in the bands. Like I said yesterday, it was interesting with my father-in-law's house. By the way, his surgery yesterday for the pacemaker, it went really good. There was no complications. He came home last night. So thank you for your thoughts and prayers for my dad. Yep, that was good. I was just blown away at the difference between, you know, because I've heard a vertical for a long time with my ears and hearing a dipole and the difference in noise. And there is a difference in noise, much quieter. So that was fun. Yeah, it was fun to do that. But, you know, I'm sorry I didn't do the 5 watts, but man, that is a nightmare because, you know, if you watch people, seriously, who do, unless they've got a directional antenna, that takes everything away. If you've got a directional with gain and you've got, let's say, for example, you had 7 dB of gain, right? Okay, so 7 times 5 is 35 watts. You now have 35 watts going in one direction, concentrated one way. You can make calls because you've got more than 5 watts out. But the point is, I've always felt there should be a directional antenna class, but how do you police it, right? Well, how do you police low power to high power in contests too? You have a guy running 300 watts, say, I'm only running 150. It says 150 is low power. Who knows? It is what it is. If you're really serious in contesting, it makes kind of, I guess, a difference. But yeah, Dad's antenna, much quieter on receive. Made a big difference, and it's nice to hear a wire antenna. I love wire antennas. I do. I love wires. Wires are cool. You can make such great calls with wires. William in Jacksonville, his lowest call power-wise, 1 watt. Well done, sir. Well done. We've got so far, the record is Winan. He made it at 10th of a watt, so 100 milliwatts. That's the lowest power for a QSO. Fantastic work. That's good. Now, Winan, I've got to ask you a question because I know you've got a directional. Was that using that antenna? Because that will make a difference, right? So tell me if that 100 milliwatts was out of that directional you've got, because still, great antenna, really is. Jeff, when I first was studying for my license, we did that. Sorry, we did that. My fault. Larry's doing the best. Mike, have to watch some team replay. Was at Aries train this morning. Get some sleep, man. And yes, Chris, great show today with Chris. That was a lot of fun. Indiana. Indiana, Delaware, and New England are having theirs, and the 7 districts. So the people in the West get their, and then the people in the Northeast get lots. So kind of one of those things. Yeah. And by the way, he did a great job. He really did. Andy, Alpha Alpha Zero Whiskey X-ray. This is from right there in Poland and the Ukraine border. Most are checked, and if in working condition, are returned to use. That's good. Yeah. You got to use them, right? 2 Lancelotti, 3 watts, and got a better signal report than when using 10. Fantastic. And that's a really neat point. I'm glad you said that. I'm sorry. Am I that? Yeah, sorry. Didn't mean to shake that. That's a good indicator that oftentimes it's not the power you're using. It really isn't. It can be propagation sometimes. When propagation fades, for example, you could be using 10 watts, right? And people are having a hard time hearing you. And then the propagation comes up, you start riding a little bit better propagation. And then you're using low power and it's working even better. You know, it was like a couple of years ago when Dad was between a technician and general that I went on and got a 5-watt QSO from California, his QTH, all the way to Kansas, right? And he was like, that was only 5 watts all the way to Kansas? Yeah, it sure was. And he was blown away. Now, we tried for another 15 minutes to make calls, and no one even closer heard the signal or farther away. That was the only call we made. But that's propagation sometimes. It works that way. That's a nice comment. 3 lads, thanks for that. Or 2 lads, thank you. I looked at the watts in his name. Not good. Daniel, never mind, was reading the display wrong. Well, I do that all the time. Skeeter, 5 watts to Idaho from New Hampshire. Idaho to New Hampshire. There may have been others, but don't remember. 5 watts. It's a long ways. It's almost coast to coast. Nice call, Skeeter. His call sign, Kilo 7 Tango Romeo Delta. Winan got someone else their remote station. Oh, that's cool. Very good. Very good. I got to ask, was that on your directional on that that 100 milliwatt call? That's amazing. Jeff, QSB, yeah. Heard a tad of it last night, but 40 was great overall. 40 is going to work really good for you tonight. And the reason why is if the K-index stays K0, K1, the noise floors are great. It really is. And what happens, just to give you a good idea, there's a couple of bands, if you really want to work some DX tonight, that are golden, really golden. 20s first. Work 20, because 20 is going to make you calls past dark. I mean, there are people right now who are working at past midnight and making DX calls. And again, the reason why you make DX is because you're working west, where people are working 20-meter daytime, right? Work 20. You'll be surprised. Now, is it going to be as good as it was last week? No, because the SFI isn't as high as it was, but it'll still work. Work 20 after dark. Then go to 40, because the noise floors are low, and you'll hear signals that are maybe an S1, you know? Maybe if the noise floors stay as low as they are, because keep in mind, when we talk about a K-index being this low, let's look at QRZ, the last one that we had for the show. Look at where on the very bottom, okay, take a look, third one from the very bottom, okay? Signal to noise level, S0 to S1. All right, what that means is a call coming in at, let's say, an S0, you can hear it because of the noise floor, right? It's right there in the noise floor. So if conditions stay the same as they are right now, you'll be able to hear some amazing DX calls on 40 meters. Just remember, it's going to work for you in all directions for the most part. And if you work gray line, you can do some pretty cool stuff. But I always like at sunset to work gray line MUF, always, because it's going to make your best calls. That's why you use the MUF. That's what you do it with, gray line MUF. But in the morning, 40 is brilliant to work gray line with. Oh my gosh, you can make calls halfway around the world on 40 meters. And conditions this good are great to try and do that with, okay? All right, I think that's just about everything I had for the show. Want to make one Kukuso, did that. Hope to be able to make some call, some fun with you and talk a little bit about Namibia. And I got it right, thanks to William. Thank you, William. For whining. And whining, thank you for coming to the channel. It's always nice to see you. And every time I see you come into this channel, I promise we're going to play this. Toto, Africa, just for you. Yep. You know what's funny about that song? I used to work for a program director. At the time that song came out, it came out in 1982. How do I know that real well? Because I played it a million times, basically, and it was 82. When that song came out, my program director's name was John Berry. And John was a program director at the station I worked at, KMJK in Portland. Now, it was really interesting because John said to me, he said, Larry, that song's going to be a classic. You watch, wait and see. That song will be a classic. Okay. So we fast forward 3 years later, 1985, worked for another program director named Gary Bryan. He's a morning director now. He's a morning show host at K-Earth 101 in Los Angeles. Gary said, when we were listening to Michael Jackson come out, it was the second album came out in the 80s, because the first one, he came out, he did Thriller in 82, and then there was like another one, and it came off really good. The third one was okay, but he's like, Larry, you watch, the music from the 80s is going to be timeless. It's going to be like the 60s. Wait and watch. And he nailed it. He was 100% right. Gary Bryan, morning show, K-Earth 101. If you get a chance to listen to him, he's on like Odyssey app, K-Earth 101 Los Angeles. Well worth the listen. It's a good guy. All right, folks, we're going to close the show, and we do have not one, but two fun commercials at the end of the show, so listen for them after the sign-off. One of them is for William in Jacksonville because he did say, is it live or is it Memorex? We have the original commercial. We do. But before we do that, we're going to help you get an amateur radio. If you'd like to get your license, it's easy to do. Not real. I hate to say that. It's not easy. It's attainable. It's very attainable. If you want your license and you have the desire to do it, you can do it. Contact someone like the Radio Society of Great Britain. Even if you're not in the UK, they're really good at helping you get your license. Find them online at www.rsgb.org. Just hit the Contact Us bar. Tell them you want to be a licensed amateur operator and where you're from. They're going to send you an email back that has a ham radio club that's close to you. Contact that club. Tell them you'd like to join and get your license. They're going to be more than happy to help you, and they'll help you get on the air too. www.rsgb.org. Friends, I want to thank you. Double Play Saturday, fun to do. And I'm starting to have more for you, but it's been kind of a long day here with me, and my back's killing me. But I do want to thank you for coming to the show today. I don't lose sight. There's 4 or 5 continents that come to watch the show live. I'm humbled by that because I never expected that to happen here. Okay? Thank you, guys. All right. Till we meet again, let's enjoy Honolulu. Let's go to the islands, have some fun, all right? This is from the island of Oahu, as they say in Hawaiian. Kilo November. Sorry, no, it's KHNL, right? Yeah, KHNL. This is their NBC affiliate out of Honolulu, Hawaii. Till we meet again, God bless you, wherever you may be. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live. Wherever you are in this great world, turn your radio on. Have some fun, make some calls, or listen for some great stations. Goodbye, everybody.
This concludes another day of broadcasting from Hawaii's very own KHNL Channel 13, a division of King Broadcasting Company. The studios and offices for KHNL are located at 150B Pu'uhale Road in Honolulu. The transmitter is located atop the Hilton Hawaiian Village Hotel in Honolulu. KHNL programming may be viewed in Hilo on KHBC TV Channel 2, in Wailuku on KOGG Channel 15, and on Kauai by tuning to UHF translator station K65BV. Thank you for watching. Aloha and good night.
Can the amplified voice of Ella Fitzgerald shatter this glass? Believe it. Ella Fitzgerald on Memorex cassette tape with MRX2 oxide. Can Memorex shatter the glass? Now we ask, is it live or is it Memorex?
What happened? Well, there I was, driving along my Hilux, off-roading. over this mountain, through a valley, in the middle of a cyclone. It's caused a flood and triggered a landslide. Before I finally get to this volcano, it's perched right on the edge of a cliff. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hang on to your steak and cheese, mate, because this is where it got interesting. From out of nowhere, the biggest wild boar I've ever seen in my life. Flames pouring out of his nostrils. He had full body armour on, 2 rocket launchers on his back like Commando. He was riding this massive motorcycle and getting himself airbrushed on the fuel tank by this crazy-looking chimpanzee. And that little fruitcake, he looked me right in the eye, and he demanded,